Hello, and welcome to a new subject. In this video, you will understand what is expected of you and how to use the project files you've been given. During this lab, you will discover a new architecture, the dsPIC33. So more than a simple CPU like the RISC-16 was, it's a full-fledged microcontroller. The main difference being that the microcontroller contains a CPU amongst other modules like peripherals, converters, memory, communications, protocols and such. All along this session, you will simulate this architecture using an integrated development environment, or IDE, called MPLab. It's being developed by Microchip, so the manufacturer of the microcontroller, and offers lots of tools allowing you to observe and analyze the behavior of your code. We will dive into the handling of MPLab a bit later. To successfully reach the end of the handout, try following the question in the order they are asked. Some questions will need you to browse the documentation, others to read and analyze source files, and finally, some will expect you to actually run code in MPLab. But you will read it all in the handout, and let's take a closer look at MPLab first. So, once you've opened the IDE, first thing you need to do is open a project you've downloaded from the UV. You should find a .x file, open it, and on the left panel you should see appear the header files as well as all the source files that are currently loaded inside the project. By double-clicking on a file, you can see it appear in the main window in the center right of the IDE, and you can browse the content of the file to answer the question of the handout. To build and execute the project, simply click the hammer to build the project. And then since you don't have microcontroller connected to your computer, you can only debug the program in a simulation environment. For that, click in the middle of your toolbar the debug project button. That will simply execute everything and then reach the end once you reach the end of the main function, since you don't have an infinite loop whatsoever. What might be useful is to see what you have, for example, inside your program memory or data memory. For that, you can open the specific windows in the target memory views and see the program memory. That is very similar to what you had in the RISC simulators, but also in the target memory views, the file registers that corresponds to the data memory you had in the RISC simulators. All the useful tools include in debugging submenu, the stopwatch that allows you to count the cycles needed to execute a specific instruction, but also in the debugging output, disassembly listing of your file. That is the assembly code that is generated by the compiler for your C files that have been compiled in the project, so that you can see where it will store the different values you have initialized inside your project. Now, let's say you want to change the exercise and not work on the assign.c file anymore. You will right-click on source file, add an existing item, and for example, choose the arithmetic.c. Select it, and it should appear in the tree on the left. Double-click it, and you can browse the content of the file. Now, pay attention to the fact that you have two main functions now inside your project, one in assign.c and the other one in the file you just added to the project, arithmetic.c. To avoid any complication, we will remove the unnecessary file from a project and only leave the one with the main function that you are interested in. Now, like we said in the beginning of the video, pay attention to answer the question in the order they appear in the handout, so that you can reach surely the end of the handout, all the questions by the end of the 4-hour sessions. Have fun.